net present value, or what we call NPV, and profitability index, which we call PI. Make use of discounting and therefore are considered, both of them make use of discounting and are considered modern methods for capital budgeting. So imagine you have a question where the investment is 1 lakh, and you have been given information as far as the years, and the cash flow is concerned, year and cash flow. So you have, I'm leaving one column for what we'll get into later, which is called the discount factor. But we have cash flow given to us in the question corresponding to years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lucky number 7. Right, so in the first year you make yourself 30,000. Next year it is 45,000. The next year it is 33,000. 20,000. 48,000. 39,000. 31,000. We have made so much of money. Now the point is, money today is more valuable than money tomorrow. So then money coming 7 years later is going to be less valuable today. That means 31,000 to be received 7 years later is not worth 31,000 at this point of time. It's going to be far less. And we can calculate that based on something called discount factors. So whenever they give us this kind of question, they also tell us what the expected rate of return is, the cost of capital is, the minimum rate of return is. You'll always see this rate mentioned in these kind of questions, which we call R. And let's assume that R is 10%. We calculate discount factor. We calculate discount factor based on the formula 1 upon 1 plus R raised to the power of n. And doing this on the calculator is easy. Keep in mind your exam may not have tables, in which case you have to do this manually, which should not be a problem as long as you know the formula. So we have 12%. We have 10% in our question. So we are going to say that the discount factor, the discount factor for us is equal to 1 upon 1 plus R. R is 10%. And keep in mind, 10% is as good as saying 10 upon 100, which if you put on the calculator gives you 0.1. This is basic mathematics. If you have doubt, just whatever the percentage is upon 100 will give you decimal. So this is going to be 1 upon 1 plus 0.1, which ultimately gives us 1 upon 1.1. And if you do this on the calculator, you get 1 divided by 1.1. And when you press the equal to button, I'm doing this one more time, 1 divided by 1.1, you press the equal to button. And I think it's better when it's large, 1 upon 1.1. I'm doing it for a third time, equal to 0.909090. We are going to write it up to 4 decimal places. So it's going to be 0.9091. And we can simply keep pressing the equal to button and we get all of them. Okay, all of them. So that's what we're going to be copy pasting here, and then we continue with this video. Now I have gone ahead and calculated the discount factor and I've written it down. Okay, and if you want, again, 1 upon 1.1 gives you 0.9091, 0.8264, 0.7513, 0.6830, 0.6209. Okay, and over here 0.564, and because the fifth decimal is 5 or more than 5, I've rounded up this to 5. Okay, and similar situation over here, this has been rounded up to 2. Okay, so you now know how we have been able to calculate the discount factors. Our next step is to calculate discounted cash flow, DCF, discounted cash flow. Okay, and we calculate discounted cash flow by multiplying discount factor into cash flow. So for example, we take 30,000 into 0.9091, which gives us 27,273, which I'm going to write down over here, 27,273. Now we have to do it for all of them. So please, you also go ahead and then we shall continue. Okay, so multiplying at every level, the discount factor into the cash flow gives us discounted cash flow. And in that way, we've been able to get all of these numbers. I've rounded it up to the nearest to p. Okay, and now we can proceed. By adding all of these numbers. So we are going to start with 27,273, add them all up in order to get this total. Okay, and the total that we get is our total discounted cash inflow. Alright. So after having done all of that on the calculator, I'm ending up with 1,70,652. I'm assuming this is correct. If it isn't, please mention in the comments. From this, we have to subtract what is called discounted cash. Okay, and again, obviously, total, we subtract the total discounted cash outflow. And you need to keep in mind that in the question that we looked at, I did not speak of any cash outflow in any subsequent year. That means in year 2, 3, 4, 5, there's nothing. In year 1, there's nothing. The only outflow that happens is your investment. And when does it happen? It happens in what we call year 0. And for those of you who are good in maths, year 0 means n will be 0. Anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. So it has a discount factor 1. This number is negative. So a lot of people solve NPV and PI like this, but I prefer to keep it at the bottom. Okay, so our discounted cash outflow is nothing but our investment. Okay, and that's what we're going to put down over here. Why are we doing this? Because it's a good time to tell you what the formula for NPV is. NPV is equal to total discounted cash inflow minus total discounted cash outflow. Alright, most of the time this discounted cash outflow is nothing but your investment, unless there is some information about working capital being added in subsequent years, or even in year 0 for that matter. Alright, so in the same way, we have profitability index. Okay, so PI is exactly the same thing, total discounted cash inflow, but instead of minus, we divide it by total discounted cash outflow. So my NPV is 70,642. My profitability index is simply going to be dividing both of these, and please do it. I can do it mentally, but you can use a calculator if you want. We end up with 1.70642. Now, as far as the decision for NPV is concerned, The rule for acceptance. The rule for acceptance for NPV is if it is more than 0. For profitability index is if it is more than 1. So if it is more than 0, and in the case of PI it is more than 1, we accept. If it is the other way around, if it is less than 0 in the case of NPV and in the case of PI, if it is less than 1, then in both of these cases we reject the proposal. If we have been given multiple projects and we are calculating multiple NPVs and multiple PIs, we will choose whichever is higher. Okay, remember, for payback period we would choose whichever is lower because we want the money back as soon as possible. But NPV is in terms of rupees. We want to earn as much of money as possible. Profitability index is comparing inflow and outflow, inflow upon outflow. So obviously we want the number to be higher rather than lower. I hope everybody has understood the meaning of profitability index and net present value. Any doubts, feel free to leave it in the comments. I will answer. Thank you.